let's do this. All right, okay, here we go. Say no more, say no more. Right.
Get it going.
Get her done. Get her done. Here we go. It's Geekazine's special coverage of Blog World New Media Expo, Voices of New Media. And it's brought to you by the folks over at Stitcher, smart radio for your smart mobile device. Continuing coverage of Blog World New Media Expo, Voices of New Media. Jeffrey Powers with Geekazine and with Stitcher Smart Radio for your smart media device. And I'm here with Steve Lee and his son Dave Lee. David Lee? The Roth is after the name? No? Okay. That's
I wish, or we wouldn't be here.
No sounds like ow or anything like that.
No. Unless I goosey.
Okay. Well, yeah.
He's my son.
He's your son. He's taller. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
That works.
My other son's here. He's even taller.
Oh, really? How tall is he?
Almost 6 foot.
I don't know. I can't see that high.
Oh, okay. So they're the Waves of Tech here. And, of course, Waves of Tech is on Stitcher Radio, right?
Absolutely. All of our content is on the fabulous, awesome Stitcher Radio.
Okay, why don't you guys tell us what Waves of Tech is all about?
You know, what we do with Waves of Tech, it's, we take in tech news and tech devices and things, but what we do is we talk about it in a fashion how it relates to people's lives and how it impacts their lives. Because it's important, because there's a lot of tech information out there, a lot of tech products. And it's not really how to, but how do these changes in this evolution of tech affect your life?
Okay. So, and you do audio and video. I know I've seen a few of the video shows, which is great. It's great, and it's always encompassing to do both. You guys have any type of favorite episodes or anything? How long have you guys been doing the show?
Well, in total, Netcast Studio has been around for almost 3 years. We have a host of tech shows, sports shows, history shows, everything like that. I really enjoyed our episode 100. That kind of celebrated our kind of a milestone benchmark for Waves of Tech. But recently, it's been a lot of good content. So there's not really one podcast in general that I kind of look to, but just because of the milestone, 100 was pretty special for us.
When, just out of curiosity, when did you do video and audio at the same time, or did you start doing video after a little while?
Actually, we started in audio, and it really stunk.
He's being honest. This is this is where I stop you at right now, because you're going to tell me a good story. So I'm going to say this is the nugget point. This is where you're going to get some good information. So now here's nugget from Steve. Take it away.
The way this happened was I was away for quite some time.
Okay.
And I wanted to talk to my son, so we fired up Skype and we talked tech. I said, guys, why don't we just record this and release it as a podcast? And that's how it evolved, but they were horrible. They were really horrible.
As hosts, they were horrible, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So how did you whip them into shape, I guess is the best term?
Even though they're both married and away, I took away their allowance.
So what did that cause you to do now that you didn't have an allowance?
Makes you work a little bit harder, I'll tell you that much, Yeah, it was fun. I mean, we didn't have the best equipment. We weren't quite sure what to do behind the mic, and it was all kind of new to us, and that was kind of the experience of figuring out how the flow is, how to interact, virtually, and it was kind of hard, but you kind of have to imagine that you're sitting in the same room talking about the things that fathers and sons would talk about, or just the topic in general. So it's really just getting to that comfort level. I think when we finally figured that out, it was kind of the point where we started taking off and figuring out podcasting.
Which show do you think was the catalyst where of course, everybody's saying, okay, I'm not 100% there. There's still something. But what was that one show where you just kind of were sitting back and listening to it as it was going and go, this is it. This is where we need to be at that point.
It probably wasn't till around 25 shows that we really thought, we could take this somewhere if we just invest more time, a little bit more money, and a little bit more thought into what you're doing. Okay. And then once you, appropriate the right things around something and control something a little better, it kind of starts sinking into place. Then as we started bringing on more and more shows of different content and getting into video, you get that instant feedback that way. Yeah. And by doing so, you can make that determination there, whether, this was fun or, hey, we're going to take this on to the next level.
You agree on that, 25?
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say right about 25, in between 30 is when you just kind of settled in, figured out what you're supposed to do as far as preparation, being on time, who you're engaging, your format of your show, all those little things that make the podcast successful. It came about 25 to 30.
So there you go. It's a learning process for everybody. Even myself, I consider myself a pretty knowledgeable sound type person, but yet it took me a few shows before I even started it. So it's not, a lot of people are in the experimental phase, and that's great. And then you start tuning in, you listen to your shows, and go from there. And next thing you know, you have a show that has a little bit of grit, a little bit of stuff, and then you get that first email. You remember that time?
Exciting.
You get that one email. It's like, somebody's listening. This is great. Wow.
The sad part for us, though, is that first email was from my wife.
Doesn't matter who it's from. Could have been from your dog. And does the dog write? Oh, my God. He wrote to me. Thank you, Fluffy. Here's some dog food. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, any type of...
Right. It's that initial contact that meant somebody's listening, somebody's paying attention, and somebody wants to get back to you about it. And those are the driving forces.
Okay. It makes it a little bit easier to get behind the mic, too, when you know certain people are listening, they're interested in what you have to say, and they're, engaging in some feedback and conversation with you, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, email, contacting through the website, whatever it is. It's just good to know that there's people out there listening and are interested in the same things you are,
Exactly. Somebody's interested in stuff I am. That's weird. What's the one, now you guys produce multiple shows with multiple hosts, I think that's the word. Anyway, what would be the one piece of information you would give anybody that was thinking about trying to start what you guys are doing?
I think the initial thing you have to do is you have to do it because you have a topic of love and you want to present that to people. And to have a passion for what you're doing. In the beginning, I don't think we had that passion because it was more of a hobby thing.
Yep.
And if you decide to continue to take it on to the next levels, and certainly you hope everybody does, but not everybody does. I mean, how many shows die within the first 10 episodes?
Sure.
Majority. And so if you're going to get into this, do that. And also, don't get in it because you think you're going to make money.
That's true. That is true.
That's a part of it. Eventually, perhaps it even becomes a business. But I think podcasting and this new media in general is because you have a love for it.
Anything you need to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's utterly important to have a passion for what you're talking about. Also, with part of that passion kind of comes that sort of dedication that you need to have to show up every week. Be prepared, have your show ready, have your links. You may think you'd be able to talk about a topic for 10 minutes. You talk about it for like a minute or two. So kind of understanding what you can bring to the table and just being prepared to engage.
My favorite thing is when I get ready to talk about a topic, I thought I read through it and I thought I read it correctly. And then I get to that topic and I'm reading it and I'm just glancing at it to try and remember what I was saying. And it's like, wait a minute, this is not what I thought this topic was about. And you got to change on the fly. And then next thing you know, it's like you're in a tailspin. You got to get out of that tailspin to get back up and running.
Perhaps have you ever thought about this, Jeffrey, and that is when you're reading that content that your goatee gets in the way and you can't visualize it.
Sure, bring the goatee into the situation there. All right, so where do people get more information from you guys?
You can go to netcaststudio.com. You can find us on Twitter at netcaststudio. You can follow the Waves of Tech show on Facebook at wavesoftech.com, and you can also email us info@netcaststudio.com if you have any questions or comments or anything about what we do.
All right, there you go. Passion's what drives them, and they've got a lot of shows to prove it. So what type of shows do you have? Are you ready to progress to the next level? Things you have to think about. Steve, thank you very much for your time. Dave, thank you very much for your time. For voices of new voices of social media. That's the word. For Voices of Social Media, my name is Jeffrey Powers. Lots to think about. Thanks a lot. We've got tons more video. We've got tons more audio over on Stitcher.com. Go over there and check that out.